Live. Country Nights Live. Country Nights Live with Bev Rainey.
Country Nights Live, it's Bev Rainey, and we've got Kenny Chesney here with us today. Thank you so much for stopping by.
No, thank you for having me.
Okay, now, you're not just a country star. I love this. You're a storyteller, a traveler, a dreamer who's basically lived a life that most of us couldn't imagine at this point. And you've got a new book, Heart Life Music. It's not just a memoir. It's a fistful of postcards from the wildest places, the most unexpected people, really. And I just want to hear all about it today. It sounds phenomenal.
Okay. I'll try to tell you all about it. You know what? The most common asked question so far is why now? And I think that for me, you know, everything has been moving so fast for, as you know, for a while now.
Yeah.
And I just never took the time to reflect because I was always so driven and I was always creating. There was always somewhere to be, you know, and there was always a good reason to be there. But when we started talking about the life lived and the career and the stories and all the creativity and everything, I was kind of just stunned by all of it. And I went, well, it's probably time to write it down. And I started thinking about all the people that came along on the journey with me, you know, and all of my heroes that I got to meet and become friends with, and the people that championed me over the years.
Right.
And I felt like I wanted to pay tribute to them also. So I felt like that's the why now. And it was a lot of work.
Oh, I imagine.
We have been working on this for about 1 year and 3 months. But it was great. It was therapy in ways. It was really great.
So when you're going back and you're really trying, because you have done so much in life and you've had the opportunity to meet so many people and have so many experiences, when you were going back and really trying to remember everything, were there those flash moments where you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm just thinking about this or that?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, there are years where it was a blur. I mean, we did so many shows early on. You know, I was trying to think back, you know, because when I first got started, I was gone so long that I would literally pack to come home. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't pack to go on the road. I had all my stuff out there. So if I had 3 or 4 days off, I would pack to come home. And so over the years, that was pretty much a blur. Mm-hmm. But when you start to think about, you know, all the times that you can really see concrete change and go from one step to another and take a different step in your life in this career, I mean, there were so many. But I told George Strait the other night, there were 2 summers that I was on the road with George Strait that quantifiably changed my life. And it was the first time that I was out there playing in front of the masses, right? Before that, I was playing, it was a fraction of all of that. And I'll just forever be grateful for that. But there are a lot of those moments, and some of those moments are in the book, but I can sit and think about all those times, you know, right when the No Shoes album came out, that was another time where we as a band and a road family and everybody associated with my life out there felt a real change.
What was the first real aha pinch me moment that you experienced throughout your career when you just really went, you got to pinch me, this is happening right now?
Well, it was my first headline arena show, probably. And I not my first one, but it was the first one where there were a lot of people there. And I remember me and the band being on stage. I think it was Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And it was just different. It was just, we looked around at each other on stage, and it was one of those moments that went, wow, we are not only getting to do this, but we're going to get to do it at this level. And these people are here, but they actually care.
They're fans.
And they're fans, and this was our audience. And then there was another moment before that. I mean, when I first started on the road, I was opening for a lot of people, and mainly Alabama when I first started on the road. And if I wasn't opening for Alabama, I was doing my own club shows. Mm-hmm. And really nobody was there. I mean, it was the staff and the bartenders, and it was just us, you know. But we were contracted to play, so we played for 90 minutes and went to the next empty club the next night. But there was a moment that we talk about in the book. We were in Orlando, Florida, and I had a song out years ago called Me and You. Mm-hmm. And That song was in the top 5 at the time, and we pulled the bus into the club in Orlando, Florida called 8 Seconds. And the parking lot was full. There were people wrapped around the building. And I remember calling my manager going, "You're not going to believe this. They're here." And I know they're not here to see Alabama.
They're here to see
They're
us.
here to see us. And
Yeah.
that was the beginning of us building what we call No Shoes Nation today.
Oh, wow.
That's where the
That's
seed
where
was
that
sown.
came from.
Yeah, right that night. That was the first real audience for us, that they were there to see us. And we played forever, and it just went from there.
I wonder if there's any way you could find, there probably isn't, the people who were in that first crowd and send them a card or something like,
Wouldn't that
I
be
remember
amazing?
you,
Yeah.
right? If you could, these days with all of the, you got to check your ID and scan it in, you could probably do that.
Well,
but
I've got pictures of it somewhere, but it'd be interesting to scan the crowd and put it up,
Yeah.
on all the services and see who would say, "Oh, no, that's me."
Were you there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man, what a memory. Okay, so you were in the ETSU Bluegrass band, and your nickname was Timing, I just found out.
That's exactly right.
What in the world is that about?
So when you play acoustic guitar in a bluegrass band, it's pretty important that you have impeccable timing.
Yeah.
And I was just learning guitar, and I was the bluegrass. I mean, I was the acoustic guitar player in the band. And a friend of mine, Barry Bells, who I wasn't that great of friends with then. I mean, I just met him. But he gave me the nickname Timing because I had no timing in the band. I had to learn that. I'm much better now. But at the time, yeah.
Okay.
He gave me the nickname.
You're much better now. So Jack Tottle actually tutored you with
Yes.
in bluegrass and all of that. Talk to me about that for a second, because I'm hoping
Yeah.
he helped you with that timing situation.
He helped me with the timing situation. Jack now lives in Hawaii. But when I went to college at ETSU, there was an actual course you could take. It was called Bluegrass and Country Music, and where you learned a lot of the history of it. And you learned, it was like a music class in school. And that was the only place in the country that offered that kind of course. Mm-hmm. And I didn't go to ETSU for that. But when I got there, I went, wow, this is really interesting. I love music. I love country music. And I was beating around on the guitar a little bit. But it was Jack that taught me my first few chords on the guitar. And in that band, I learned how to work with people. I learned how to be a better musician. And then after that, I was playing in clubs 4 nights a week, sometimes 5 nights a week, and trying to have good enough grades to graduate college. And it was an interesting time, but that's where I truly fell in love with music, and music from that point consumed my life, and it still does.
So you picked up that guitar and you realized, besides sports and all of the normal college guy stuff,
Yeah.
that guitar was your passport to just
Everything.
Everything.
That guitar was my passport. That and my imagination, right? That's where my imagination was real. I mean, that's where the dream started.
Yeah.
And it created space for me to dream in a lot of ways.
I do feel like your entire career is based off of what a great imagination you have. I feel like that actually might be your most valuable asset, Kenny, because everything you've done, it doesn't matter what you touch, it's all based off of what you have first had up here and then made brilliantly come to life. So,
oh, thank you, thank you very much. Yeah, I get that. I think from my mom, and I get that from my family. But for me, I mean, still, I open the book talking about just that thing. I'm in the back of I used to do this all the time. I was in the back of my grandmother's yard. I was back there laying in the grass, and I would do it at night because you could see, if it was clear, you could see millions of stars. And it was just, there was no light pollution from Knoxville. And I think that's where this dream started in a lot of ways, because I was so curious about what was out there past my county line. Yeah. And we didn't go anywhere. I mean, we went to school, we went to church, and we were so far out of Knoxville that going to Knoxville during Christmas to see the lights was a big deal. Right?
Yeah,
so
I understand that.
So that's, I think I still carry a lot of that with me, whether I'm getting ready to do an arena show or a stadium show, or last year we did the Sphere. I mean, all that imagination and creativity started right there in that backyard.
Yeah, I remember talking to you about all of the imagination that was going to go into the whole Sphere project, and thinking, wow, like just that you decided we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and you were like going through the motions, and it took a long time to make all of that happen. But that's what I'm saying. You imagined it and you made it happen right there. For
such a fun
to
experience.
Yeah.
To be given a blank canvas and go, okay, create anything you want for your show. And there's some anxiety that comes with that.
Yeah,
but
I imagine.
Still, I mean, it was And we're going to do it again next summer. So we're going to change it some, but we get to paint it again, which is really great.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I hope I get to go see that one. I actually was just in Vegas looking at the Sphere. I was telling my twin sister, I was like, I'm going to go see
You have a
Kenny
twin
right
sister.
there. I do. I have
My
a twin
mom's
sister.
a twin.
Fraternal or
Sharon
identical?
and Karen.
Wait,
identical
Sharon and-
twins.
Sharon and Karen?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I have a question. Did they have to wear the same outfits? I'm interviewing.
grandmother-
Like, let's talk about this.
My grandmother and grandfather dressed them up and took them to church and made them sing. Took them to all these fairs to sing at the fair. They were called the Grigsby Twins.
The Grigsby twins?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. It's like having your best friend and your worst enemy all rolled into the same
for
person.
a long time, they would wake up every day and have coffee in the morning. I mean, and people would see my Aunt Sharon and think it was my mom, especially after I had a few records out. They'd start talking to my Aunt Sharon and started talking about me.
Yeah.
And my Aunt Sharon would go, "You're talking to the wrong one."
Yeah, no, I broke up
Yeah.
with my sister's boyfriend one time because I didn't like him. She didn't
Yeah.
talk to me for 3 months, and he thought I was her.
Yeah.
So I've got stories. Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'd love to talk to you more about that. Plenty at another time. Okay. I want to talk about all the travel we were just discussing about how you were in the backyard as a kid looking at the stars, and that guitar was basically your passport. And in the book, you got Moscow, you've got Plentywood, Johnson City, Carter Fold, Cabo with Sammy for his birthday, Sammy Hagar. Oh my goodness. West Palm Beach, New Orleans with Sam Payton, Oakland with John Gruden. I mean, Jupiter with Joe Namath. I could keep going on and on and on. Tough Gong Studios in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Tell me one of those stories.
Okay, well, the Tough Gong Studio in Kingston, Jamaica, was where Bob Marley and the Wailers wrote a lot of their music, made a lot of those records that we all know and love. And family man Ashton Barrett, who was the bass player for the Wailers, reached out, and the Wailers had a lot of these old tracks that they cut in the 70s, and they were going to make a record, and they asked a bunch of people to write lyrics to these tracks.
Okay.
So they sent me the track. Me and Brett James wrote the lyric to a song called Spread the Love, recorded it, sent it back to them, and that was going to be a part of the record. Okay. Well, that record never materialized. And so after several years, I asked them if I could buy the track, have the track to make it a part of my Lucky Old Son album. And they agreed to do that. And so we went to Jamaica with the living members of the Wailers and went to Bob's studio to make the video. And it was magical. It was so magical. Like you said, there's a lot but getting life advice from Joe Namath at his house when you're making Boys of Fall. And we had this idea of who Broadway Joe is, but he gave us, we were just talking about life and then being with Sammy Hagar on his birthday. And that's the night that I wrote Beer in Mexico, later that night.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I was 36, and we were rocking. I'd stayed out all night, and most people were still out. But I went home, and I pulled out my guitar and wrote almost all of Beer in Mexico that night.
I bet that was unforgettable just to...
It was so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember most of the night? No,
yeah, I remember most of it still.
What was the most fun chapter for you to write out of all of this?
Oh, the most fun chapter to write... I don't know. The Boys of Fall chapter changed my life. That song in 2009, I was pretty tired. I mean, I'd been going nonstop since 1993. I've been through a lot personally, been through so much, and I just felt kind of numb. I couldn't explain it.
Yeah.
And so I took 2010 off the road, and that's when Boys of Fall came into my life.
Okay.
That's when we made an ESPN film about football, and all of a sudden I was in the living room of Nick Saban, John Madden, John Gruden, Sean Payton, Bobby Bowden, all these people that meant so much to the game of football. And all of a sudden I was energized, and I was back creatively, and my brain was on fire with creativity, and it took that. So that was my favorite chapter to write because, look, my dad was a coach. I was an athlete throughout my whole childhood. I loved sports and into high school. But I think for me, writing the Boys of Fall chapter, just because just the connection I had with the sport and all the friends I made, and these coaches and players still come to shows today.
That is a great answer right there.
I think that's my favorite one.
Yeah. And
but only because it got me back in the groove. You know, it got me in my life. You know, it's not that I was getting ready to quit in 2009, but I sure felt like it. I didn't know. I was so tired. You know, when you're that numb and kind of robotic.
I do.
Making music and doing shows, when you feel that way, that's not the best way to make music and do shows. Music is not meant to be that way.
No.
You know, it's not meant to be robotic. I think we can all hear when it is.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and mailed in. Uh-huh. And I've always tried not to be that way. So that's why I decided, you know, I'm going to take a couple of years off. I only took 1 year off because I was so fired up after making the film for ESPN. And then we went back on the road.
Train tracks pretty much, and then realized that you were back on the first one.
That's all it took, but I needed it.
Yeah. When you just said 1993 to 2009, that really struck me hard. That is a long, treacherous, nonstop haul just to think about. That's not a couple years. That's
1993 to 2009. It was nonstop.
Wow.
And you know, you wake up and look, I'm not complaining about that life at all because I have benefited and I love what I do.
Right.
And I loved every minute of it. But I woke up one day and went, it's not that I was unhappy. I just wasn't happy. Mm-hmm. And everything was so robotic. And I knew making music in that kind of headspace wasn't good for anyone.
So going back into it, what is it that you feel like you want to do differently or you have done differently since then in your life in order to be more present and enjoy life itself?
You mean today?
Yeah.
Oh no! I just feel more creative. We don't tour the same way now.
There you go.
As we did then.
Yeah.
Like in the years I was talking about, then we were gone all the time. My life today is like a baseball season. We start in spring and we end in the fall. But you know, that's like 6 months on, 6 months off. 3 of the months spent off though, or spent preparing for the next 6 on. But I think just for me personally, I've just gotten better with it.
Right.
You know, and I've able to relax more. And, you know, I love what I do. Nothing beats being up there. Nothing. And I still love that. And I love creating. You know, that's the biggest gift I think that God has given me is the gift of creativity. And to be able to spread positive love and energy up there on stage and through my music, and this gives me so much joy and happiness.
And I feel like you finding the Virgin Islands was such a beautiful blessing too. Because,
no question.
I feel like when I see you the happiest a lot in photographs, you were out on a boat, you were over the ocean, you were in that weather on the, I can feel it when I look at the smile on your face. It's like where you belong in your peace place, right?
Oh, God, we had so much fun down there.
Yeah.
Before social media, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like there's no accountability. This is great.
Right. Life was totally different before social media.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
my
write
goodness.
all about that stuff in the book, too. It's interesting.
Oh, you know, speaking of moments, I've got to ask the question. You were so excited that you ripped, I'm going to say it, your crotch in your pants. Like, what in the world? Please tell me what happened.
That was my first headline show ever. I mean, we had done a lot of shows opening for people, but my first headline show ever was in January of 2001 at Coral Sky Amphitheater in West Palm Beach, Florida. Mm-hmm. And we did the whole show, and I went out for the encore, you know, and it was so beautiful. The place was lined in palm trees, and it was a beautiful night. And everybody was so excited because we were so happy we didn't fail, you know. So, right? And I don't know how it happened, but all of a sudden I saw the audience staring, not at me but down, and I had ripped the crotch out of my jeans. And yeah, I'll never forget that.
What'd you do? What happened
I
next?
didn't care. I just went on. I only had one more song left anyway. So, yeah, that happened. That night.
Luckily, the days before social media.
Yeah.
Or that would have been an international
It would
incident,
have been
right?
everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of things we did would have been everywhere.
Oh, man. What a great story. Okay, Heart Life Music. If you want to hear more of these stories, there are plenty. And I appreciate that you're sharing your heart, life, and music with all of the fans out there.
Thank you.
Giving everybody an opportunity to get inside your imagination and just get to know you as a human being a bit more.
Thank you
for
very
writing the
much.
book.
Thanks for having me.